what if the future of your franchise depended on the one player you could never count on? That's the nightmare the Memphis Grizzlies find themselves in. A team once seen as the next young dynasty now stands on the edge of something far more terrifying: collapse. And it all starts fittingly with a fall. It happened in Game 3, a night that should have been Memphis's moment to fight back. Morant, explosive as ever, took flight, only to crash hard after an awkward collision with Lou Dort. Was it dirty? Depending on who you ask, it either exposed dirty tricks or pure bad luck. Freeze the moment frame by frame, and Dort is slipping, desperately trying to contest a shot, not launching a targeted hit. But it doesn't really matter. The fall was brutal, and the image of Ja writhing on the court burned into every fan's mind. Because in truth, that play wasn't just about one injury. It symbolized everything that's gone wrong for the Grizzlies. Ja's body, and their hopes, have always been one bad landing away from disaster. The painful truth is that Morant isn't built for long-term dominance. His game is beautiful but brutal, a relentless assault on the rim, defying gravity and logic. But history doesn't lie. Players who attack like that pay the price. Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, even Dwyane Wade, all felt the toll eventually. And he's missing 20 to 30 games almost every year, even at just 24 years old. His lower body takes a beating every time he steps on the floor. And when you live above the rim, it's not a question of if you'll break down, it's when. The Grizzlies knew this. They had to. But they chose hope over caution. They chose to believe Ja could be the exception, the one guy who could fly forever. Memphis's loyalty to Ja Morant has been both inspiring and dangerous. Publicly, they shut down any trade rumors. They've planted their flag behind him, gambling their future on his star power. Privately, though, there's no way they aren't worried. How do you build around a player who might not be on the floor when you need him most, and yet they're trapped? Ja is still their best shot at greatness. Desmond Bane is an excellent player. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a defensive monster, but neither moves the needle like Ja when he's healthy and locked in. Trading him would destroy the fan base and the team's identity. Keeping him might destroy their championship window anyway. Meanwhile, the coaching carousel spins faster than ever. Taylor Jenkins, the guy who helped shape this young core, is gone. Officially, it's about needing a new voice. Unofficially, it feels like a scapegoat move. Jenkins wasn't perfect, but he maximized guys like Bane and Jackson. His firing smells less like strategy and more like desperation. And now, the new coach, whoever it is, inherits a ticking time bomb. He won't just need to win games. He'll need to hold together a roster built on uncertainty, expectations, and the constant threat of another Ja injury derailing everything. Even beyond Ja, the foundation is shaky. Desmond Bane once looked like the perfect complement. A tough, smart, dead-eye shooter. But cracks are showing. After injuries and a rough season, his confidence seems shaken. Memphis locked him into a huge extension, and now? It might not look like such a bargain anymore. Jaren Jackson Jr. brings incredible value, but there's a storm brewing there too. He's set to become a free agent in 2026. And because of NBA extension rules, Memphis probably won't lock him up early, which means the Grizzlies are walking a tightrope. One more disappointing season, and Jackson could start eyeing other options. A core of Jay, Bane, and Jackson sounds good, but in a Western Conference stacked with killers, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Anthony Edwards, it's not enough. Those guys are legitimate MVP-level forces. Memphis has talent, but they don't have that. And in the NBA, that's the difference between hanging banners and hanging regrets. The front office knows it too. That's why they swung for Marcus Smart last offseason. Trying to find a tough veteran leader, it didn't work. Smart was solid, but didn't change their DNA. They threw offers at OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges too, offering mountains of draft picks, and missed both times. The connecting piece they've desperately needed has stayed stubbornly out of reach. Even their homegrown gambles have fallen flat. Zaire Williams was supposed to be a breakout star. Instead, he barely stayed in the rotation. Gigi Jackson flashed potential, but isn't ready to save the franchise yet. The young depth they bragged about 2 years ago now looks more like a myth. And so, the future looks scarier than anyone in Memphis wants to admit. No cap flexibility, no blue-chip free agents knocking at their door, no sure thing in the draft. Just the hope that Ja can stay upright, that Bane can rediscover his swagger, that Jackson stays loyal, and that some miracle deal materializes. But that's not a plan. That's a prayer. The more you zoom out, the worse it looks. This isn't just about one bad season. It's about years of injuries, stalled development, missed opportunities, and stubborn loyalty to a dream that's slipping away. Because here's the real nightmare. Even if Morant stays healthy, a big if, the Grizzlies still might not be good enough. They're younger than most contenders, sure, but they aren't better. The margin for error is thin. And when your best player might miss 30 games a year, thin becomes non-existent. Memphis keeps saying publicly that they're not trading Ja, and honestly they shouldn't. He's still their highest upside piece by far. But the danger isn't just losing Ja to injury, it's the slow, painful realization that no matter what they do, this core might never break through. Even now, the cracks are obvious. Jaren Jackson, as good as he is, isn't a number. One option. Desmond Bane, for all his growth, struggles against elite defenses in the playoffs. And Ja? Well, Ja's body seems to be fighting against him harder than any defender could. They keep telling themselves they're close. One more year, one more healthy run. But in sports, especially in the NBA, windows don't stay open forever. Sometimes you don't realize the window has closed until you're standing there staring at the glass. The most likely path forward is simple. Memphis runs it back. New coach, same core. Pray for health, hope for growth. Maybe try to steal a wing player with the mid-level exception. Maybe pray that Gigi Jackson takes a superstar leap nobody saw coming. Maybe hope that the West isn't quite so brutal next year, but hope isn't a strategy. It's barely even survival. The Grizzlies are walking into a dangerous future, and deep down they have to know it. Even if Ja Morant returns to full health, even if the chemistry clicks, they still might not be good enough to get past the juggernauts waiting in the Western Conference. And if Ja gets hurt again, if Jackson decides to test free agency, if Bane keeps plateauing, the fall won't just be symbolic anymore, it'll be real. Fast, devastating. Memphis has been living off potential for years now. Potential is intoxicating. Potential sells jerseys, tickets, dreams. But it doesn't win rings. At some point, potential turns into regret. And unless something changes fast, the Grizzlies might find themselves looking back at this era, at Ja's brilliance, Bane's promise, Jackson's rise, and wondering how it all slipped through their fingers. The real story of the Memphis Grizzlies isn't just a scary fall in Game 3. It's the slow, scary realization that their climb might already be over. And the fall, it's only just beginning.